of hitting your opponent with a planet, hosted by Jimmy Flame, begins now. Daddy.
Ow! The art of hitting your opponent with a planet. Yeah, baby. Hosted by Jimmy Flame. On the air today, baby. I'm really excited for my guest, Triple D, Mr. Paul-Preston, ladies and gentlemen. I just got off the phone with him a little while ago. We talked Washington State wrestling. We talked the Washington State heavyweight title championship, Pacific Wrestling Federation, Northwest Pro. Talk about Paul-Preston, baby. I'm talking Paul-Preston daddy. Yeah. I'm excited. I've been toe-to-toe with that guy a lot, especially in 2016. We did a series of matches, like must have been 6-7 matches, something like that. Pretty much all the gimmick matches you can think of. We just couldn't get enough of each other. And I'm very happy and pleased to have him on the show. As you know, as most of you don't know, Paul-Preston is one of them guys that he's always out there putting on a great. Every single one of his matches are just fun to watch. I mean, the man puts on a clinic every time he's out there. He can go high, he can go low, he can come off the ropes, he can do the high flying stuff, he can get on the ground, he can beat you to death with his fists. I mean, the man is just ambidextrous. He's a great wrestler. He can get in there and tangle up with anybody. And I'm very glad to have him on the show today. And before we get to that interview, just want to let y'all know, remind you, as I always do, baby, we on iTunes, the Stitcher app, Blueberry, Spreaker. We on all the major apps: Stitcher, iTunes, Blueberry, iHeartRadio. We are now on Google Music. You can find us now on the Google Player. You know that one that comes on your phone when you get an Android? Yeah, we on there too, baby. Jimmy Flame. Art of hitting your opponent with a planet, worldwide, daddy, all over the place. There's no reason why you can't hear us now. We on pretty much every radio app out there. And we've been working on trying to get some airtime on the airwaves as well. We've reached out to quite a few radio stations to see if anybody's got some time they want to have a wrestling talk show on the air. And go on over there to Facebook. Catch us on Facebook, Jimmy Flame 77. We also got a Facebook page dedicated to the art of hitting your opponent with a planet. You can just search for the art of hitting your opponent with a planet on Facebook. That should take you to our page. Sound off there. Let us know, where you listening, where you from, all that good stuff, and what radio station you'd like to hear us on. If you're not listening to the app, or if you are listening to the app for that matter. But holla at us. Let us know what's up. Twitter at JimmyFlame77. Hit us up on Twitter. I post photos from time to time on Instagram at Flame Jimmy, one word, at Flame Jimmy on Instagram. I always be posting them pro wrestling pics on there. You can check out some of the colorful pics I put up for the wrestling matches over there, daddy. But yeah, I've been a busy man lately. As most of you know, I've been fiercely independent in the wrestling scene pretty much since I got my start. Way back in the dinosaur age. Millions of years ago. And yeah, today's been one of them days where I took Mr. Bob Evans up on his advice. He started a hashtag Invest in Yourself, and the guy, I would recommend everybody following him on Facebook. He's just an inspiring dude, and he preaches for wrestlers to invest in themselves. I can attest to that. Invest in yourself and you will be getting around. Like I've got bookings in Georgia at the world famous Landmark Theater coming up in May. That would not have happened without the help of some friends and me reaching out to them and just saying, hey, I want to be there, my man. I want to give a shout out to my man Kyle Brown down there in South Carolina and Georgia, down in that scene. He helped me out, get some bookings down that way. One of them is on a card with the Rock and Roll Express. I'm very excited about that. WWE Hall of Famers Rock and Roll Express, Jimmy Flame on the same card. That is a dream come true, daddy. And my boy Kyle Brown helped hook that up. Give him a look on Facebook as well. He's working down there in the South Carolina, Georgia area. I'm going out to Baltimore finally for the first time since the 90s, I think. That was like the last time I ever wrestled in that area, for Baltimore Championship Wrestling. Look them up as well. They're a great upstart promotion. Lots of great talent over there. I'm going to be out there on June 17. I've also got matches coming up in California, down there in the Santa Cruz area, down there at the VFW in Santa Cruz, and over in Watsonville at the end of April. I'm going down there to compete at Fist Combat. One of the matches that I signed up for, I've been signed to take on the heavyweight champion, Seabass, down there. So come on down, baby. If you're in the California area, you in the Bay Area, you're going to want to be there for that. Santa Cruz, California, end of April. Go to my Facebook page for the exact date. I don't have my calendar in front of me. But I'm going to Texas this year. Going back to the East Coast, up to New Jersey. I'm going to hit up the Monster Factory again. You got to, if anybody who's involved in pro wrestling has got to do the Monster Factory at least once in their life. More if you can. But you got to go out to that. That place is the place to be. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go to, be hitting up another one of them Ring of Honor tryouts this year. I'm not sure when the next one's happening. They haven't released a date yet, but I'm going to be hitting that up too, whether I need it or not. I'm just going to go there. It's a great way to network. I implore and I entreat all the wrestlers out there, get on that if you can. It's an application process. They're picky. They don't extend a hand for everybody to come, but it's worth the application. They don't charge you to apply. So keep your head and your ears to the ground for that one. You want to go, because if a company like Ring of Honor is asking you to come try out, you just don't say no if you're serious about this business. You know what I'm saying, Daddy? But I'm going all over the place. Oh, yeah, and just got off the phone with the folks at NSA Alaska, up there in Alaska. Alaska is a bucket list place, baby. I'm going up there to wrestle in May as well. I think I'm going to be wrestling there on Mother's Day this year. So I'm going to scratch, Alaska off the list. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to be, after Alaska, it's pretty much, there's only like 1 or 2 states left that I haven't wrestled in my entire career. So I appreciate the folks up there at NSA for having me up there in May. But the point of all this is Jimmy Flame's a busy, busy man. And you don't get to go out there and wrestle as much as I do unless you put yourself out there. People always ask me, how do you do it, man? Why are you booked every single freaking week? Why are you booked 3 times a week, 4 times a week sometimes, every single week, week in and week out? Well, it's because I put myself out there and I bust my tail, and I give the promoters and the fans everywhere I go their money's worth. I just don't say no, for one. And 2, I'm ready. I'm not training. I'm not, I'm in constant training rather, but I'm not like training for anything. I'm just ready at all times. You can call me right now, be like, Jim Flame, come on down to the ring and wrestle, and I will give you a good match. I'm going to give you a great match. And the reason why I'm putting this out there is because I want everybody. I know a lot of wrestlers out there. I want everybody out there doing this because it can be done. If my ass can do this, you can do this, because I'm not the greatest wrestler in the world. I'm only the greatest wrestler in professional wrestling, baby. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it needs to be said, baby. Get your butt on the phone. Call promoters. Don't be annoying, but let them know you're here and let them know that you're willing to go. You know what I'm saying, Daddy? Just get out there and do it, man. And Bob Evans, Brutal Bob Evans, has been a great inspiration of mine in sort of like reigniting my career. Everybody goes through a lull in their life, and I was going through one of them, a little over a year ago, and then this dude came along, and it was just a great inspiration. It was a pleasure meeting him, and I've been following him and talking to him regularly ever since. The man is just an inspiration, and I want to, I guess I'm just going to publicly thank him right now. Mr. Bob Evans, keep doing your thing, because you're an inspiration to a lot of us, and to relay a lot of what he says to everybody else. Get out there. Wrestling is fun. It is a business. You know what I'm saying? It is serious, but it is also fun. Have a blast with it, man. I mean, who else? Who in the world gets to go out there in freaking spandex and fight dudes in the ring? You know what I'm saying? Who gets to do that? We get to do that, and that is fun. To me, that is fun. I can't think of anything else better in the world to do, because I like to fight. Everybody that knows me personally outside of wrestling knows Jimmy Flame likes to fight. I ain't never backed down from nobody. And pro wrestling is it is the perfect outlet for that, because I get to go out there and I get to do this thing 3, sometimes 4 times a week. I'm shooting for close to 200 matches this year, and it looks like I'm gonna be getting real close. And man, is this business rewarding when you just serve it and you just go out there and you just do it. You know what I'm saying, Daddy? But anyhow, speaking of a great worker, I got Paul Preston on the show today. He's we had a little conversation earlier. We talked about Washington State wrestling. We talked about Paul Preston as well. But let me get him on the phone real quick. I'm going to jump over here to the phone and make this thing happen. So, Paul Preston, baby, you're out there. You are the Washington State heavyweight champion. You wrestle for Northwest Pro. You got PWF, Pacific Wrestling Federation, there with the Randy Taylors. You know what I'm saying? One of the great wrestlers out here in the Northwest. How the hell are you? I can't even talk right now. There I go with my introduction, screwing up my introduction already. Paul Preston, how in the hell are you, baby?
Hey, what's up, Jimmy? How you doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm glad to finally get you on the show. A lot's been going on in your world lately. I saw that you just recently won the Washington State heavyweight title over there at Northwest Pro. Why don't you tell the fans out there a little bit about that?
Oh, man, it's not much. Belt's a belt. It's a nice little organization. Just starting out, just getting the feet wet and really enjoying being there.
Before we get too far into this interview, why don't you tell us, let's talk about Paul Preston real quick. Now, I remember you from like 10 plus years ago or whatever, busting into this thing. And why don't you tell everybody out there how you got involved in pro wrestling?
Well, I got involved in pro wrestling. I think pretty much just kind of walked into it. Probably about 12, 13 years ago.
Right.
I just happened to run into somebody. And, one thing led to another. He turned out he was a pro wrestler, and I've always had a love for it. And the opportunity showed up for me to step into the ring, and I didn't turn it down.
So just like everybody else, you were a fan as a kid coming up.
Oh, yeah, religiously.
Right. Who were some of your favorite wrestlers? Who were some of your favorites growing up?
Some of my favorites growing up? Well, you got the old good old Roddy Piper. But, that was a big old... But, I loved Adrian Adonis. Loved watching that guy do his thing. So that'd be one of my favorites right there. The whole Piper-Adrian Adonis feud was, epic. In my mind.
Oh, man, that was one of the things, that was electric. It still stands the test of time.
That's one thing I remember more than anything else growing up was Roddy Piper and Adrian Adonis.
So you got involved in wrestling about 12, 13 years ago, and that was out here in the Northwest, correct?
Oh, yeah, pretty much. I traveled a little bit across the Northwest. Haven't gotten much more than that. But I just live my dream a little bit at a time.
I heard that. Yeah, speaking of which, I've been telling people they need to come see some Paul Preston. Like, you're the guy that every time I show up, you got like a wrench in your hand and you're building the ring and all that crazy stuff, and then you go out and you put on these just awesome, just fun matches to watch. And let's talk a little bit about the work ethic, because you're one of the guys out there that I highly, highly respect, not just for your in-ring work, but you're always building the ring or doing something crazy or driving the ring around or doing something. You're like the guy that's always behind the scenes making this stuff happen. Let's talk a little bit about that, about Paul Preston's work ethic.
Well, like I said, I love wrestling, and the only person who's going to get it done for me is going to be me. I can't sit there and depend on all these other people to put that ring up for me to have a show. Because, I've been in this business a while. There's a lot of people that want the glory but don't want to work for it. And the glory, in my opinion, comes a whole lot better when you work for it.
I heard that. And the inspiring thing is you've been doing this for so long, but yet you're still out there doing the work that some people might say is reserved for rookies or whatever. And I agree with you on it. It's not. It's just like go earn the work. Go earn what you got, like every single day, no matter how long you've been doing it.
I've heard two people pretty much say about me, well, why did Paul get this? Why does Paul get that? Why does Paul get this? Well, Paul shows up, Paul busts his ass, and Paul earns his spot. It's more just going out there and doing a show.
Amen to that. Well, let's talk a little bit about current. So right now you got the Washington State heavyweight belt through Northwest Pro. What do you got coming up on Paul Preston's plate?
The next plate will be a nice triple threat match going against Randy Zellers and Dallas McCoy. Two couple up and comers are hungry for it, and they work for it, and it should be a fun time for me, at least.
Right. And one of those guys used to hold the title.
Yes, I took the title from one of those guys, and he's coming back for a little revenge.
Right. And Randy Zellers is coming back to try and get that title. He was a fighting champion, but in the end, he couldn't handle Paul Preston.
Well, that's usually the way it goes. You know, the fun thing about Paul Preston, Paul Preston doesn't go in the ring and beat people up and do all that stuff. The point is, Paul Preston is you have to beat Paul Preston.
I can attest to that, folks. Me and you and I went round for round, over the course of 6 or 7 matches this year, or in 2016. And I got to tell you, I'll testify, man, you're one of the toughest people I've ever been in the ring with.
Oh, thank you for that. And I have to test to you that, you just keep coming. You don't stop.
No, man, that's how we roll, man.
Oh, yeah, we've torn down the house.
Sometimes you got to chase me down, though. It's all in the strategy. All in the strategy.
When Paul Preston, you just let him get in the ring. The crowd watches, and they want more.
That's why we went round. That's why we went back and forth for so many matches. I mean, people couldn't get enough of it. So you got this triple threat match coming up. When is that? How can people catch that? Where is it going to be? Shoot us with some info on that.
Well, it's going to be out in Vaughan, Washington, the Chief Peninsula Civic Center.
Is it March 11th?
March 11th. But yeah, triple threat should be good. A lot of good matches on that card. We got our champion going up, putting his belt on the line. Great guy, Jeff Orcutt. Good up and comer that people need to see too.
So Orcutt is the current Northwest Pro heavyweight champion, which is
he is.
Heavyweight champion. Yes. So that's distinct from the Washington State title.
Yes, that's
Got it. Hey, there you go. That's a good attitude to have. I was going to ask about the hierarchy. Do you consider the Washington State belt to be more important than, or at a higher level than the Northwest Pro heavyweight championship?
Well, you can never take anything away from the heavyweight championship.
True that.
But I've been after the Washington State title a lot more than the heavyweight title, and I think it's a little bit more hometown pride when it comes to the Washington State title for Northwest Pro.
So let's talk a little bit about other related wrestling. Are you scheduled to appear anywhere? Are you trying to expand outside of Northwest Pro or even outside of Washington State in 2017? Because I'll bookend it with this. I really think more people need to see Paul Preston wrestle.
Well, with the way the schedule's been going, it looks like it might be opening up, and Mr. Paul Preston might be trying to band his horizons a little bit and get a couple other belts under my portfolio and show them what Paul Preston can really do.
How could they get a hold of you on the internet if they were interested in booking you? And also on that matter, how can the fans find you on the internet to learn more about what Paul Preston has to offer to the wrestling world?
Well, I got the good old Facebook and Twitter and stuff like that, and I'll be putting up my email address so anybody can get a hold of me if they need to. We can work out some bookings. And
so on Facebook, you're Paul Preston. Just look up Paul Preston.
Yep, and look up Paul Preston, and the manager deals with all that stuff. I really don't know the name of the Twitter handle. I feel kind of stupid about that one.
You're one of them running their own Twitter. See, that's smart. So let's talk a little bit. Let's move on to maybe wrestling in general. With the rise of the indies, indie wrestling is becoming more popular than ever. With pretty much the WWE being the top dog, it's there's this giant vacuum in pro wrestling that's being filled. Fans are hungry, for some straight up wrestling, and they're finding they're sort of whetting their appetite by turning to indie wrestling. Where do you see, say, the state of indie wrestling heading in 2017 and beyond?
Well, at least hopefully here in Washington, we get some new laws passed. Makes it a little bit easier to get the shows going and stuff.
And for the record, everybody, HB 1420 is in the process of being voted on right now. We're going to have a show in the future on that because the voting is expected to take place. It was expected to take place last week, but it's been shelved for this week. So hopefully we'll have a vote on that soon, and the laws will be changing here in Washington State soon, which will enable promoters easier access to shows. So with Washington State, it's easy to say you're expecting Washington State to continue to grow on the indie circuit. Do you see more promotions, out of state promotions, cooperating with each other in state, like say more promotions in Oregon, participating in shows in Washington and vice versa, or even Canada, like since these potential laws are being loosened?
Well, I'm hoping, but, you've been in this business, a little bit longer than I have. You know how politics go with promoters and stuff like that. If everybody just shut up and work good programs, but it's also the point of people getting along.
Not only you got to deal with the real politics from the politicians, but you got to deal with the politics of the promoters and the wrestlers.
Oh yeah, so you always got to be on your toes in this business.
I heard that. That's why I just keep my head down and I just go out there and I just wrestle. You seem like you kind of approach it in that same manner. You just put your head down and get out there and just put on a show.
Yeah, like I said, I'm there to wrestle. I ain't there to do anything else.
So for those out there who haven't seen Paul Preston wrestle live, can you give them a preview of what to expect? Because you got the high flying moves. You're also a very good ground wrestler. You can brawl. I can attest to that. You can brawl when called to do so. What can people expect when they come see a Paul Preston match?
Well, you can't really expect anything. I'm a chameleon. I go out there and I change depending on who I got a match with. I'm going to high fly sometimes. I'm going to go out there. If I go to the mat, I go to the mat. It all determines on who steps in that ring with me. So no two matches are the same. You can't expect the same thing every time you see Paul Preston. Because it all depends on who's in that ring with him.
I'll tell everybody out there it's just going to be exciting no matter what you get. So you and Randy the Pimp Taylor go way back as well. You guys have a special relationship going on, and you've told me before that he's pretty much been your mentor in wrestling. Let's talk a little bit about that. How has Randy the Pimp Taylor influenced your wrestling career?
I'd say he pretty much put out his hand and helped me out. He's always shown me respect. I have nothing but showing respect. I don't know, it's kind of why it worked out that way. The guy wants to, make this business great and pass on what he knows to whoever will listen, and I'm one of the people that will listen. And it's worked out great.
Sure, man, yeah. So he's got the Pacific Wrestling Federation up and running again. And for those who don't know or might not remember, PWF was like the wrestling federation in Washington State and in the Northwest, for that matter, for a number of years, like way back in the day. They were the big draw. They brought in all the great wrestlers. Randy Taylor was a part of it. And he's opening up shop again. Can people expect to see you on a PWF card anytime soon?
Oh, yes. Yes, they can. Like I said, the PWF is up and coming. Like I said, old name, restarted back up. And the point of PWF is they want to bring in people from everywhere. And you get a good old big melting pot. Grab you from this promotion, grab a guy from this promotion, give you stuff you've never seen before.
For sure, for sure. Yeah. The thing I love about PWF, I did the first one. I wrestled the first one. I wrestled Sunny Days out there in one of those co-ed. And I love the fact that you go to the ring with no music and they do in-ring introductions. How cool is that?
Oh, yeah, it's the old school. I love it. Stuff I grew up on. It's actually bringing the show back to the show. Yeah, the only thing about PWF, what Randy Taylor told me, is he wants to showcase the boys, the wrestlers. He wants to, the wrestlers are the show, He's not trying to fancy it up with a bunch of other stuff. He's just giving you, here's your wrestlers. This is what you got.
Right.
I don't need it.
Now, it looks like here, I actually got my calendar out right now because I'm actually booked to wrestle on March 25th out there at PWF at the Eagles Lodge in Port Orchard. Are you on that? Are you on that card as well?
Yes, I am.
Let's go ahead and plug that right now. So March the 25th. Do you know who you got that night?
I believe there is a tournament going on to crown the first PWF heavyweight champion.
All right, let's talk about that. Because the PWF title. That to me, that's a prestigious title. That's a title that every wrestler in the Northwest should aspire to have.
Yeah, and some legendary names have owned that title too, and it would look great on Paul Preston's waist.
There you go. Hey man, I'm gonna have to give Randy a call and get involved in this stuff. I know I'm booked, but I don't know if I'm booked in the tournament. But I'm gonna have to do some behind the scenes politicking to get up in that.
Oh yeah. Like I said, I don't think none of the wrestlers have been named just yet for the tournament, but it is getting set up for a 2-show pretty much tournament. One show have all your qualifying matches, and the next show have the little tournament.
So you got PWF, you got Northwest Pro coming up. Is that about it for Washington State?
Yeah, for the moment, that's about on my card. You never know. I'm thinking about maybe going back down to Oregon here shortly. You know, I haven't been there a while, so Paul Preston needs to go down and dominate again.
Well, thanks for being on the show, Paul. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Paul Preston. I'm gonna get on out of here and get this thing live, or not live, but I'm gonna get it on the air as soon as possible. And thanks for being on the show, brother.
All right, brother, you take it easy, and hopefully I'll see you in the ring soon.
That's right, Daddy. That was Paul Preston, also known as Triple D, Washington State heavyweight champion. Telling it like it is today on The Art of Hitting Your Opponent with a Planet, hosted by Jimmy Flame, baby. Get on out there on the iHeartRadio, iTunes, Google Music app, all that stuff. We want everything right now. Stitcher, Blueberry, everything, baby. There ain't no excuse why you can't be listening to the Jimmy Flame Show, showcasing the best in indie talent out there. I want to thank today's guest, Paul Preston, for coming on the show and talking about his career, about his business, about his things that he likes to do out there in the wrestling world, baby. And until next time, make sure you continue to tune in to The Art of Hitting Your Opponent with a Planet. Jimmy Flame's out, Daddy. Ow! I'll see you next time.